This is the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
Developing resources here grows our economy, it decreases trade imbalance, it creates hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs, and it secures our union by eliminating dependence on dangerous foreign regimes.
Gas prices are crippling the nation. The pain at the pump is being felt from coast to coast. With that in mind, Sarah Palin does what she always does: addresses a problem head-on with common-sense solutions. This past weekend, the governor co-hosted an entire hour-long program with Eric Bolling on Fox, addressing the country's gasoline woes. We'll take a look back. This proactive approach toward fuel costs is just another example in a long line of moves by Governor Palin that benefit us. Today, we'll discuss her uncanny leadership abilities with a man who's followed Palin's career for years, editor and publisher of US4Palin.com, Ron Devito, is here. We have so much to talk about. Let's dig right in. Ron Devito, thanks for joining us here on the Palin Update on SarahNet Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Ron, we throw around this term Palinista a whole lot, supporters of Governor Palin. But, you know, some say if you looked up Palinista in the dictionary, there'd be a picture of you next to it. You do it all, a lot of times at your own expense and time. Tell everyone, at least if you could, some of them, or maybe all of the Palin hats you wear.
Oh, where do I begin? I edit and publish the website US4Palin.com. I contribute and syndicate that content to 12 or 13 other sites, personal accounts that I have. That would be Team Sarah, Smart Girl Politics, Soda Head, Town Hall. Those are some of the bigger ones. I contribute to Palin Promotions. I guest submit to Conservatives for Palin. I'm also the New York State coordinator for American Grizzlies United / Organized for Palin. I do travel to some selected events where Governor Palin speaks, and I do videography, photography, on-site reporting, and I have managed some small scale and some large confidential Palin projects, grassroots type things.
Now, because of your in-depth knowledge of the governor and her record, you can really speak about her in many ways. Focusing on her leadership, Ron, what sets Governor Palin apart, and why are so many people attracted to her style?
Well, Governor Palin is what they call a transformational / charismatic leader, and she is also a servant leader. And one of those, some of the qualities of those two styles. The transformational style, they lead by example. They make their continued leadership contingent upon the results they produce. They'll never ask you to do anything they would not themselves do. And this one is very important. They do not pursue power for its own sake or seek popularity. They do what's right, even if it means politically killing themselves to do it. And some of the terminology that Governor Palin has used is textbook transformational leadership to the core. And an excellent book, if you want to read up on it, was written by Joseph C. Hilly back in 2008, Sarah Palin, A New Kind of Leader. If you want to really get an in-depth on her leadership style, that book is mandatory reading.
I just talked to yet another person the other day with that familiar mantra of, I was never into politics, then Palin came on the national scene and they were hooked. That says a lot, and I think that speaks to why so many are still heartbroken that she isn't running for the White House. Is it that she walks the walk too, Ron? I mean, we hear a lot of things that people like to hear, and there are charismatic politicians out there, but then they're elected and other things happen, or even when they're not elected, they change their minds, depending who they're talking to or who the audience is. So is that a lot of it too, that she really backs up where she stands and her values with how she lives, not only governs?
You hit the nail right on the head. She walks the walk. She does, and If you look at her views, her positions on issues, you look at them today, you look at them 20 years ago, nothing has changed. Everything that she believes in is hard-coded, burnt in. It's part of who she is. She is honest and authentic to the core. I mean, I can tell you, I've met her several times. I met her when she was a VP candidate and still a sitting governor. I saw her at a distance as a sitting governor. I've met her several times as a private citizen, as her financial circumstances improved each time. And she is the same Sarah each time. She has not let anything go to her head. She has an objective ego, which is also part of transformational leadership. You look at her three core signature accomplishments when she was governor: the Alaska Gas Line Inducement Act, overhauling the tax system with ACES, that's Alaska's Clear and Equitable Share, and the ethics reform. Those three things that she did, very major things. Just doing one of them would have been enough of an accomplishment. And you look at what she's accomplished just in the time that she was governor. When I compiled the list, it was just a list of links. It was over 100 pages long when I compiled everything. That's the scale, the size, the scope, and the frequency. She has this ability to get 72 to 96 hours out of every 24-hour day. I don't know how she does it.
Can you compare her leadership style to anyone? Many say Reagan, but what about our current leaders or politicians? Anyone even scratch the surface?
There's conventional leaders, leaders like her, not in our last generation. And I don't think whoever comes after her, and this is my honest opinion, I don't think any of us are going to be alive when her successor comes.
You know, most people that don't run for office, in this case the White House, you hear from them from time to time, but if, you know, they're not in the race, they'll make an appearance here and there. They won't be on everybody's radar, so to speak, every day. But Palin, despite not being a candidate right now, is really battling Obama daily and doing it with style. That speaks to this too, doesn't it?
It definitely does. There is a base of power that she has, which those of us with our MBAs, and I happen to have one, they call it referent power. Now, in political speak, that's political capital or influence. They all mean the same thing. That is her principal base of power, and is that base of power that allows her to take on Obama daily. I mean, you look at what she has done as a private citizen. She shaped the debate on Obamacare. Now, Obamacare might very well be a non-issue by the summer. It might be struck down as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. She got that going from a Facebook page. Governor Palin, using her influence and her political capital, she got this current round of candidates to release their tax returns when they were stonewalling. If you remember back in the early days of the primaries, Gingrich didn't want to release his, and Romney didn't want to release his, and they had that whole back and forth, well, I'll release mine when you do yours, and I'm only going to release this many years. And she said, hey, you know, come on, release the returns. I had to do it. I had to, when I was called for VP, she said, and my husband Todd, she said, had to get all this out. She said every candidate should make their records known to the public. There's no excuse not to. And she forced that issue, and they released those returns. And this is someone who's not running for president. If you look at that attack ad that Obama did in early March, did he go after any of the candidates? No. He went after Governor Palin.
It's really unprecedented. You know, Palin always talks about not needing a title, and you just rattled off a lot of the power and accomplishments she's had as a private citizen. But do we need her to have a title, at least at some point?
There are certain things that you do need a title for. She cannot have Bibi Netanyahu sit down with the next president of Egypt at Camp David as a private citizen. She cannot sign a treaty as a private citizen. She cannot make decisions about war or peace as a private citizen. So those things, to be able to do those things, she needs the title. She does not need the title, obviously, to influence the debate and to influence what candidates do or don't do. She's been doing that. She has been operating on this reference power since the day she stepped down from office in July 26, 2009. So she's been proven for the last 2 years, going on 3 years now, that you don't need need a title to make a difference.
This past weekend, she hosted a show with Eric Bolling focusing on these horrible gas prices. Is that the other key here when we talk about leadership, Ron? She talks about and offers solutions on the issues Americans really care about.
Yes, it is. And that also speaks to another base of power, and that's expert, and that's knowledge or skill set. And matters related to energy is something that she is a subject matter expert on. She knows about this because she was an oil and gas chairperson before she was governor. And that was also where she started doing a lot of her ethics reform at the state level, was in that position. This was before she got elected. So she gained that knowledge firsthand, because that she was living, eating, breathing, and sleeping that stuff. So she has that knowledge, and she's using that knowledge now to influence the debate.
And we need her there. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. People chatting at the gas station all the time now, just lamenting these ridiculous prices and the situation when it's right at our hands, a solution. Ron, we saw Palin do a great job, as expected, on the Today Show a couple of weeks ago. I understand you were there, too. How'd that day go?
For me personally, not too well.
What happened?
I went there for the purpose of doing organized for Palin work. The problem is you're not allowed to do any kind of political activity on Rockefeller Center property. It's private property. They could make those rules that as property owners, they have that right. So when I arrived at the Today Show and be decked in my New York for Palin T-shirt and with my sign-up sheets and with my Reagan Sarah banner, I was pretty much given the no-go. And then my Long Island coordinator came 5 minutes after me. He just had on 3 little buttons, political buttons, and they wouldn't let him in either. So I ended up on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and, lesson learned. I didn't realize that he does satire as a stock and trade. I got a good laugh out of the clip. I did get to display the Reagan-Sarah banner. I did not get to interact with Governor Palin at the Today Show. I saw her from about 30 feet away, and I was shouting and waving, but she couldn't hear me or see me. I mean, it was not the most possible thing. Hopefully, showing that banner on the Daily Show, I did get positive comments from coworkers and friends, people outside the Palinista community who saw it and thought it was good. So maybe something good did come out of it. I think Governor Palin herself did great on the Today Show. One thing I think is important to mention, Matt Lauer. I know us Palinistas, we tend to not like him because he's a liberal, and he has not been the kindest person to Governor Palin in the past. But he said something on the Today Show that I think is very important to bring out. He saw something in her, even as an enemy. And that something he saw was her ability to stir the passion of her base. And he said flat out, Romney does not have that ability. Governor Palin retorted, he will have it. But Lauer fired back in his exchange. And this is a very important question. He was actually right about this. And I'm going to quote him directly. He says, but Governor Romney can, in your opinion, all of a sudden develop that skill. He can get the guy sitting at a bar in Alabama or the woman working in a factory in Des Moines to feel he is one of them. And the simple answer to that question is, no, he can't. He can't. I'm sorry to say it, but he does not inspire. If you look at a video of him in a room with the crowd and you look at a video of Governor Palin in a room with the crowd, that's all you need to see.
Oh yeah,
that will tell you.
Yeah, and you could substitute Romney. I mean, we're talking about Romney because he's looking like the nominee here, but you could substitute that name with anybody. And against Sarah, it's a big loss and a blowout. But Ron, listen, we appreciate you going there to New York and all the things you do and getting out there and spreading the word. And I know the governor appreciates it as well. And we hope you keep things going here. You don't sleep, do you? You're like me.
Sleep.
You're doing too much. You're like, I've been doing these Batman hours for a long time. It's not that easy.
This is like a full. I work full time. I have a day job, and I'm very happy doing what I do on my day job. I work for Con Edison, but I got to tell you, this is a full-time job plus overtime in and of itself.
Yep.
And and I enjoy it, and one of the reasons I enjoy doing it, first of all, Governor Palin inspires me. She uplifts me. When I get up in the morning and I see the stuff that she's done, it motivates me to push to a higher level for myself in my own daily routine. And I also get satisfaction out of the fact, when I look back over these 3.5, 4 years, what my colleagues, my friends, myself, we've accomplished in terms of working with her, I've seen the positive results. I remember the days of we spent, all we were doing was defending her record, defending her from this attack, that attack, the other attack, from this one, that one, the other one. And we've putting this fire out, putting that fire out, and we've moved away from that, and now we're on a whole different playing field. And seeing that in that massive improvement is very satisfying, seeing the fruit of your labor and enjoying the fruit of your labor. So, that helps keep me going, too.
Well, Ron, the passion and joy comes across, and we're right there with you, and let's keep this thing rolling. And thank you so much for being here with us today on the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Remember to head over to usforpalin.com. That's US, the number 4, Palin.com. A wonderful site chock full of all things Sarah Palin. See all the things Ron posts. He really works hard promoting the governor. If you haven't seen the Fox special that ran this past weekend, you have to check it out. Along with Eric Bolling, Sarah Palin hosted Paying at the Pump on Fox News, addressing these ridiculous gas prices. Palin magnificently showcased how the price of fuel affects the price of everything, from food to clothing to service. She called for responsible energy development and for her all-of-the-above approach, developing ANWR and using natural gas. Once again, Sarah Palin getting it right. If only D.C. would wake up and listen. The governor's asking us to send Obama a big fat message about our displeasure over gas prices, requesting we use the hashtag #PayingAtThePump on Twitter to send the president our suggestions. Speaking of Twitter, you can follow us at SaraNet Radio on Twitter, and we're now on Facebook, too, so please like SaraNet Radio on Facebook. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. Visit SaraNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. And if you want to stick it to the left, pick up one of our new SaraNet Radio bumper stickers. Just email us, send your name and address, and we'll send you one of our great-looking new stickers. Go to SaraNetRadio.net and click on free SaraNet Radio bumper sticker. I want to thank everyone here at SaraNet Radio. Thanks to Ron Devito, and thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.